put this on, season 8, episode 37, where we watch Scared Tactics 2024, season 1, episode 1. And it's like a sexual experience in your mouth. I'm Chris Lorenz.
Can we have a moment of silence for Russell? This is Max.
Those are quotes from this week's show. But last week, we watched Coming from America. We put a poll up on Twitter, and you guys voted it a tie between top and bottom third show. So I guess it's a middle third show.
I suppose so.
I guess that's how that works. The show we watched this week was Scare Tactics. It's a hidden camera prank show where unsuspecting people are put into their own horror movie scenarios by friends and family, blurring reality, horror, and comedy.
Yeah, that's a good description.
Yeah, so the show is produced by Jordan Peele.
Executive produced. I'm not sure how intertwined he is.
His
but
name's
there
on
is,
it.
yeah. Yeah, and otherwise it's Scare Tactics. You watched in 2003, you're watching 2024. It's the same shit.
Is it? I don't think I ever watched Scare
I'm
Tactics.
not entirely sure I did. Also, was it on Sci-Fi Channel?
I have no idea. I don't have any idea what the original one was.
I'm
This is a
reasonably
reboot.
sure it's the same shit.
This is a reboot of an old show from 2003, I think.
Oh my god, I forgot there used to be it used to be hosted by Tracy Morgan.
Well, we've done a couple of these like horror prank shows before.
Yeah.
There's one by the Stranger Things guy that we did.
Prank Encounters.
Prank Encounters. We've done, I think, one other one, which is why we were confused with this one, because we were like, is this just the same thing or not? And I have to say emphatically that this is the best version of that show.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Of a prank show I think we've ever done. There's
and
no
spooky,
BS.
Yeah.
There's no BS. It's just like, this is the prank. You don't even know who the guy's setting up the prank. All you know is this guy we're pranking, and we're kind of also pranking the audience at the same time, because you have no idea what's going to happen.
You don't know how it's going to unfold.
So like the first one I thought was amazing. I thought this is how you start a season for sure.
First one wasn't my favorite.
I thought the first one was great.
It was funny. It had a quick payoff. It was a little too hammy for me, and I feel like you didn't actually scare the guy. The guy was already like, "What the fuck is going on here?" In any case, let's tell the audience about the first one, the first prank number one.
I was going to. So the prank is that these two guys are just on the side of the road. I don't know where they actually are, but then this priest comes up to them and says, "Hey, can you be witnesses to this wedding? And all you need to do is sit here and sign some paper or whatever." So they do.
He also mentions that if this lady doesn't get married before she has her baby, awful things are going to happen.
Yeah. So they go through this whole ceremony, and they pull the people in. They have them try to say some stuff. And the whole time, this guy, what's his name? I think his name is Chad.
Chad is the target.
Chad's the target. And, it's pretty uncomfortable. Chad gets up to try to go a couple times. And the priest's like, no, you can't go yet. We're not done. And then meanwhile, the wife is visibly pregnant and looks like she's giving birth the whole time. So at the end of the ceremony, they're like, "Oh, she's giving birth," and then they give this great, spoilers, jump scare, and Chad, pretty much everyone just runs out. Even the guy that knows this is a prank is running away. And I thought this was great.
It was pretty good. I will say the baby, quote unquote, popping out, unexpected and delightful execution.
Yeah, that's why I like this one so much, because it's a prank on. It's like a prank on us because we get the jump scare because we don't know what's going to happen,
I
and then they
just
don't get the like. Obviously, he doesn't know.
I feel like the guy already knew something was up. Like, they kept being like, "Oh yeah, can you just read this prayer?" And it's like, some satanic looking shit. The name of the lady getting married, her last name is Iblis, which is like a word for the devil. Like, they're not. What's the term? They're not actually trying to scare this guy, freak this guy out. They're like, haha, do you know? Haha, hitting each other with their
Yeah,
shoulders.
I mean it's definitely a little tongue in cheek, but when that you know little person pops
Yeah,
out of that woman and he just like freaking runs like the fastest 40 you've ever seen some guy run. I'm sorry. He
yeah.
might have been a little out of it, but he motherfucking ran.
He was out of there. Yeah,
And I think at the end of the day, this is a great prank because, like, in the same situation, we would do the same thing. We're not like laughing. We're not like we're laughing with the guy. Like, the guy's
yeah.
happy that this is not a real thing. It's harmless. Like it's just like a funny story now. Like he gets a really great funny story out of this, and like this is perfect. It's a perfect prank. I,
Agreed. Um,
like he could have blown the prank up for sure. Like there was a lot of like he just be like, "This shit is weird. I'm just leaving." Like that definitely could have happened, and like he tried to do that. And like I agree with you, he knew something was up, but I don't think he really knew what was going on.
hmm,
And he was obviously scared by the little person.
yeah.
So
Um, what else? Oh, something I loved about this. So two things. The entire episode is like 24 minutes or something. So there's two pranks per episode. This was like 12 minutes. I was thinking, wouldn't this be better if you just watched for 20 minutes Gaten Matarazzo setting up some shitty prank? Wouldn't that be more fun, Chris?
who?
Uh, Galen Matarazzo, the Stranger Kids thing.
Oh,
Stranger Things kid. Not the
I think
Stranger Kids thing.
so. The biggest difference between this show and like most of the other prank shows that we've done, like Prank Wars,
Yeah.
is you're kind of in on the setup. So like when you're watching it, you're kind of watching that guy's reaction. And in
Yeah.
this show, you're
You're
not involved.
also
You're also just trying to figure out what's going on with this prank,
you're along for the ride.
which is pretty good. Which I think we'll get into it before we get to the second one. There's some issues with that in the second one.
Um, yeah, I still want to stay on this one. Something both pranks do is they each have an epilogue filmed.
Oh, the epilogues were great
The
because they were
epilogues were
like,
it really wraps up the story. I thought this must be a Jordan Peele thing because it's
yeah,
too good.
it definitely feels like Jordan Peele was definitely in on these meetings. Like, okay, find a genre short story. Like it's full of like what's the right word of
Folklore,
cliches,
yeah,
like just cliches. It doesn't really matter, but like have it a little surprising. Get these people like to believe kind of they're in these stories, and then hit them hard with something,
yep.
and then play up like at the end we'll have this epilogue and play out like the rest of the story as if it was real, and it was good. Those were honestly great. That definitely feels like a Jordan Peele note, like, oh,
Yeah,
this would be a really fun idea, and it was.
yeah.
What was the one for this one?
Uh, uh, the excuse me, I can't talk. The happily wedded couple is cradling their baby Damien in their arms, and she says, "I'm so happy to have little Damien."
Oh, and then he says, your dad's a little nerdy, but he's not really your dad." So
That's right.
that was that was just a great joke to end that. Which I'm like, I feel like this first one was a banger. I'm not sure the second one I didn't like as much as the first one. which we'll get into.
Yeah, I guess the first one was fun.
So I don't know how that like is gonna forestall the rest of the season because like as I
You put
always
the best
say,
in the first episode.
you got to put your best foot forward because that's the episode people are gonna see,
Yep.
especially in the age of streaming.
Yep.
Like that's what's gonna happen. Uh, let's see. Do I have any other notes about the first episode?
My only other note here is the guy says, "Y'all need to call the police."
Yeah, there was also like a part where they said this. They tried to make it like an immaculate conception, which I think it didn't really work that well. In like, I don't even remember how they were trying to make that like a thing, other than like saying devil things during the like ceremony.
It's not worth going into.
I thought so. Before we even get to the first prank, we get this really weird host,
Yeah,
which
flip
is which is like a CRT television
on top of a
on
man body.
yeah, which was weird. It's like you're trying to get that classic vibe of the Twilight Zone, but twist it to like a way that it's just weird.
It didn't. I'm like, what was the vibe they're going for here? Because like Flip seemed a little like Gen Z to me almost.
I mean, it definitely feels like a younger person's show for sure.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing about the show is the music really sells it. Like, I'm not
Mm.
sure any of this would be like kind of scary, especially the first prank, without the immaculate music. I think they got with the show.
I did not really remember any specifics about it.
I just think it created a great ambiance. That's what I have written down.
I believe it.
On to the second prank, which is let's see.
It's
They gave us
called Death's Table. Each prank has a title.
the first one was called Dearly Bedeviled.
Yep.
This one, Death's Table. Ariel is the prankster, and Irving is the victim.
True.
And so they all are at this dinner table. And before they get to the dinner table, they get their phones taken away. And they like are at this dinner table and they're getting through a fancy meal with courses. So each course is like some random animal that's like theoretically like endangered or weird meat that you would get. So the first course was puffin
Yep.
and something else I didn't
The
catch.
guy's like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
And then the second course was horse and dolphin.
Surf and turf, as they say.
Yeah. This is where the sexual experience in your mouth quote came from.
Yep. The dolphin is often commonly referred to as the horse of the sea, they tell us in the show.
There's a part where like the chef comes out after this like horse dolphin thing, and the woman's like, "Am I the only one that tasted sexy?"
That was good, yeah.
I really wanted to use that quote too. I thought that was good. And they ask like, "Hey, where do you think the meat came from these animals?" And the chef person was like, I don't know, but somewhere near the genitals," which I thought was pretty good. There was some sort of sexual joke they tried to make with this whole dolphin thing. And then the final course, which was locally sourced long pig, which I think is like some sort of colloquial for like human.
I've never
I've
heard the
heard this
term.
before. I've heard it before. We should probably internet corner this.
But yeah, they call it long pig. First of all, it should be called like long pork. Nobody says, "Oh, I'm eating pig."
That's true. It looked like ham. I'll tell you that much. But the one woman says like, "Oh, I've never had human before," and the
Yep.
guy just starts freaking out like, "What?" And
But
the guy,
It's okay though. The chef comes out and he says, "Hey guys, this is ethically sourced. I believe their name was Russell. They died 12 days ago. It was brined for 2 days, aged for 9 days." Somebody says, "Can we have a moment of silence for Russell?" And then they dig in. And you know what? The guy the whole time is like, "Ooh, I don't want to do this at all," but
And
he goes for it.
his friend kept egging him on to do it. It's unclear if his friend actually ate it or not. Like, it's not
I
clear.
mean, I feel like the friend knew.
Well, the friend knew, but they didn't show the friend actually eating
True.
so I wasn't sure.
Yep. Um, when
The other conversation that happens while they're eating this human meat is they're like, "Would you taste better if you fell off a cliff, or which I thought that
yeah,
was a lovely conversation. Like,
the other diners at the table were largely pretty funny.
yeah, like I loved this whole setup, but there's no like the payoff is just not
Yeah,
there.
I
There's no
agree.
good payoff for this. Like the chef just comes out after he eats the human meat, which is like agonizing for like a couple minutes, and then the chef just comes out and is like, "You're on scare tactics."
Like, I think what they should have done is had brought it to the next level, have the place get raided by the FBI.
Well, they
Like,
did
just keep it going.
they did the classic setup where like so while they're doing this in the beginning somebody had a camera had their phone with them and like host comes out and takes her in the back and like the classic thing here would be to like try to make it seem like she was the person that you're eating, which they didn't do, which I think would have been probably better, and then you could play off of like the guy's got blood on him or something, and it could be like human tartar. I don't know. Could be
But
too much, but
but
like,
the way they presented it here is, I'm not going to say it's believable, but between these two options, the way it's
oh,
presented here seems a lot more believable.
for sure, you could definitely be pulled into this one. Like, Max invites me over, and we're gonna go to this new fancy restaurant, and they're gonna give us like weird random meats, and you're not gonna have your phone, so you can't take any like, you heard about it on the internet or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'd believe that more than like we're hanging out and like, hey, can you be the witness for this creepy ass wedding? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. I don't need to be involved. So I don't know if I'd be a good prank person for that. Uh,
Do we remember the epilogue for this one? I
no.
do.
What was it?
So it cuts to the kitchen, and they're in the back, and they say something about, oh, it's what's the term for like when the kitchen has a meal together, like meal, dinner, group meal. They
Uh,
basically
Family dinner?
say, "Hey guys, let's eat group meal or whatever," and then they cut to the refrigerator, which has the redhead that was taken away for taking cameras inside of it. So
Uh,
they do kind of pay off your suggestion.
okay, yeah. That's what I assumed was the thing that happened. I guess I missed
Um,
the part.
in terms of believability, this quote unquote restaurant they showed up to does not look like any restaurant I've ever seen. If I walked up to this, I'd be like, okay, is this some weird pop up shit my buddy found on the internet?
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you're gonna get like dolphin meat, like where do you think you're gonna get dolphin meat from?
I'm just saying, I didn't buy it.
Max, I feel like you'd be a tough person to prank.
I'm easily scared though. But yeah, I'm very suspicious.
You're a suspicious fella. But that's like the end of the episode. Short, sweet, right to the point.
Wow.
Two fun pranks.
24 minutes of my time well wasted.
Yeah,
Incredible.
for sure. So who do you think's the worst human being?
Um, it's gonna have to be Irving for eating human.
I guess that's fair. I was gonna say one of the people that set up their friend to be pranked, but
I think it's funnier to say it's Irving.
Like that's fair. All right. So, what speed do I think Max watched the show at? I think this is a classic 1x. I think 1x. That's what I'm going with.
That would be correct. Yeah, we watched it on Peacock of all things
Yeah. We watched it,
on
I
the
think, at theater.
Xbone.
We, it's the, but like a side tangent from
But
that.
also, she does watch at like 1.2x if I am, just less common.
Yeah. I was watching the new Dragon Ball show, Dragon Ball Daima or whatever,
Yep.
and Netflix has that built-in speed boost. I was using it. Definitely needs it.
Uh, do you know how I started doing my whole speed thing?
Some sort of browser extension.
Uh, but no, the reason why.
No, I don't know why.
I was in the middle of the Thriller Bark arc of One Piece, and I found it so impossibly slow. I started going up to 2x, and I was like, I can understand this. And I started going up to 3x, and I was like, okay, now we're talking.
Like subbed anime, easy to like.
So easy.
Yeah,
And they always have these fucking cuts to all 7 members of the One Piece crew that take up 30 seconds for no fucking reason, and now it only takes up 10 seconds.
yeah,
So
for sure.
there you go. There's my speed boost origin story.
Speed boost. Let's see drinking rules for this show. I think you gotta drink when you get scared or somebody in the show gets scared.
Um, you need to take a drink every time somebody says Jordan Peele.
You gotta drink when like somebody gets creeped out. You get creeped out, like there's blood or something. Like you feel creeped out. Take a drink. Or like a celebrity shows up, take a drink. I think
Mm.
there's been like the season on. I saw like some wrestler shows up, and when
Uh,
anyone gets suspicious, take a drink. I think those are some pretty good rules.
every time somebody eats or drinks something in the show, take a drink.
That's good. So would this show be better as a Quibi or a TikTok?
I think it's kind of okay as is.
Yeah, I think it's good.
It
As
has very little downtime.
Yeah,
Shocking.
it's kind of interesting. Like half an episode would be like one prank, which is almost a Quibi. Like I feel like you could do this show as a Quibi, but would it be better? I don't
Yeah, I'm
know.
just not sure. I do like having back to back pranks.
Yeah. All right, let's just go to ratings.
Yeah.
Max, what do you got for me?
Yeah, this is going to be a bottom third show, I think. Prank, top third, middle of the top. Actually, no, Chris, is this the top of the top?
I don't know.
It
You have,
wasn't that good. I just didn't hate it. No, it's going to be top third, middle of the top.
I'm going to disagree with you, Max. I think this is definitely the top of the top. Like
Okay.
like in terms of reality shows, like there's nothing wasted here. This feels like a written show.
You
Like
know
half
what?
of it's written, but like some guy's not in on it, and it's like fun. It's not like mean. It's like the whoever wrote the pranks is doing great. Like I'm excited to watch more. So I'm gonna put it on top of the top. Let's do it.
Something we did not bring up in comparison to this jury duty, arguably of the same ilk.
That's fair. Jury Duty is like an eight
But
hour show
to
versus like
to a
10
whole
minutes.
other level.
10 minutes, and like all these pranks took like what, an hour, 30
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
nothing, like nothing is ruined about this guy's lives. These people were just in on a fun prank and they got a good story. This dude's literally the Jury Duty guy had to go to therapy. Like I don't trust anyone anymore. Everyone's
Mm.
lying to me. Like I you could say they're similar, but I think it's like, you got a penny and you got $100 bill, and like That's
I've,
I feel like the gulf is so massive between these two shows.
I have a weird question for you. Have you ever heard of Just for Laughs TV?
You have seen some clips of Just for Laughs, and they're
Uh,
pretty good.
I find the show fucking awful. I hate. No, correction. I hate the the vibe, the mood of the show. It's like, haha, everything's happy, hoo hoo hoo, pranky prank. But the pranks themselves are quality. Uh,
That
the
is
only time
true.
I the only time I ever watch the show is waiting to take off on a United Airlines jet plane. Um, but yeah, sort of a
I
similar
agree with you. It's similar tone, but like it has nothing to do with like horror.
spookiness.
Spooks,
No,
and there's just spookiness, and like their whole thing is like no
spookitude.
language, right? Like there's no language
I
involved
mean, do you know why that is?
because they speak French.
Yes, they're in Montreal.
Yeah, but I like their pranks are pretty short, which is pretty good. But I agree with you. Like they add weird sound effects and tones and stuff that like doesn't work for me. I agree. Personally, I've seen the clips on Reddit that are funny, where like you go into porta potty
Yeah.
and then they come out and they're like in
Oh,
a Japanese like business room.
the
Great,
porta potty is classic.
this is great. Like I've only
Yeah.
seen like the great clips. Like I'm not
Yeah.
seeing the like, you know, you dropped a penny on the floor and it's glued or something, and you're
I
like, oh,
almost
that's
feel
not
like
a
you
fun
should
prank.
watch some of the bad ones just to appreciate the truly great ones.
Yeah.
Next
So
time you fly United, unfortunately.
I'm just gonna be on my phone. I'm not gonna be
Yeah,
not doing that. Sorry,
that's
but
okay.
it is what it is.
I wonder
It's
if
also,
a friend of the show, Rob, loves Just for Laughs TV.
oh, he does.
Maybe. I'm wondering.
Oh, you're wondering if he does. Yeah. So tell us what you thought about this show on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I want to give a special PSA because it's this time every 4 years to vote. Please don't vote for Mr. Orange or the dictator or, somebody that just hates humanity. And vote, please try and vote responsibly. That's what I'm going to say. Max, any shout outs this week?
Um, Started showing Olivia the Fast and the Furious for the first time. Man, Fast 1 still hits.
Yeah. So long pig is a euphemism for human flesh, by the way.
Where's it
So,
from? Give me the history.
so there's this Reddit thread. Let me read it quick. Uh, I heard it was because we taste like pork, but we are longer than a pig. Um, so
Okay.
that's why it's called that. It's not a joke nor a phrase invented by Europeans, but one frequently used by the Fijians, who looked upon a corpse as an ordinary butcher's meat, called human body puaka, balava, long pig, in contradiction to puakadina, or real pig. So there you go.
Cool. Thanks, Fiji.
Yeah, fast movies used to be so good. Like the OG, so good. Fast Five, amazing. Fast Six is good too. But then you start, then you get into two, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Three, which is like fine. Four, I mean, it's just like they've got some bangers, but now there's like more non-bangers than bangers.
I agree. Like a lot of the latest ones, I just don't care that much about the super spy shit. I think
Yeah, the Super Spy shit is stupid.
they're due for maybe just like a spin-off that's like just back to the streets, just a little lower stakes, a
Yeah,
little more. I was reminded it's crazy that the giant race competition they have there is called Race Wars.
yeah, Race Wars. Where else would you go? Come on.
Excuse me.
I would say the show kind of jumped the shark. I think it was seven when like Paul Walker died, and they had this stupid story about like God's Eye. You're like God's Eye. This is not James Bond. Like God's Eye is not a thing. It can't be a thing. You can't just like hand wave your way to like God's Eye being a thing. And like the only thing you do is like like we're gonna set up this set piece and do this action and Jason Tatum or what's his Jason whatever is going to show up and like he's going to try to get the God's Eye, and you're like, this is so silly, like this is stupid. And
Yeah,
once Paul Walker's out, it's like it's really hard to get back into it because Vin, he's good, but he doesn't have any charisma with anyone else in the crew, and he
he did
like
with The Rock, and then that's not going to happen again.
yeah, well, they both couldn't lose in the last movie The Rock was in,
It's
so it's
crazy.
fucking silly. They would and they would fight each other. You're like, you can't have two people that can't lose and then fight each other, because then what are you gonna do? You can't do anything.
Maybe he should go back to Chronicles of Riddick.
He is the fourth. He's
Oh,
making the fourth or fifth one.
that's cool.
Fifth one, fourth one. I don't know. Doesn't matter. He's making the next one. So,
Very cool.
I don't really have a shout out this week. Um,
Shout out to having a house.
Dragon Ball Daima came out. I liked episode one. It's pretty good. It's on Netflix. I'm kind of annoyed that it's a pre. It's like set between Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. Like part of the
Interesting.
fun, part of the fun with Dragon Ball is like the fun.
Uh,
Like how do they level up again? How do they find new people that are stronger than the last people? And
the
like
term you're looking for is a interquel. It's a
Interpol.
between sequel.
Yeah, so we'll see how it pans out. Um, it is interesting. It premieres in Japan, and then like 4 or 5 days later, or something, it's on Netflix.
Hmm.
So it's like close to being good, but it's also like I can't go to the Reddit community because they're all just watching it.
Yeah,
Because I think it's available on Crunchyroll or sooner than Netflix, which is weird to me.
there should be like a mode for like Reddit, but the history from 5 days ago.
I mean, I can go there once I watch it, but this is the first show on Netflix that I think is week to week. It's a week to week show on
Huh.
Netflix.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, but yeah, I mean, I know. Huh.
So it's kind of interesting.
What about like Love Is Blind? I think they add one every,
I
or
think
maybe
they
they
they add
drop a
multiple.
couple every
They
three
drop a
weeks.
couple every week.
Yeah.
They've been doing that with reality shows. Is they get you hooked on like four, and then they drop the next four or whatever. Which I have been watching the new season of Love Is Blind as like a sideshow.
Dude, DC season is not good, but Chris, I do have something you should watch.
What?
Love is Blind, Habibi, Middle Eastern Love is Blind.
Can I watch it
Uh,
with the English dub?
you can watch it with a dub or sub.
Well, I know, but
Also,
can I? Is it good if I watch it as a dub? That's the question.
no, but here's the thing. They speak sort of like a mix of Arabic, French, and English, so you get a decent amount of English even without the dub.
Okay. I mean, the new season of Love Is Blind is like it takes 5 episodes to get out of the pods.
Yeah, and nobody has any chemistry. I gave up after a bit. Season
Uh,
6, however, was excellent.
the like one couple had like a huge fight, like not on camera, and it's like it defines their whole relationship. We're like, before this fight, great, they were doing good, and they're just like now the rest of the show is like them not doing good, and you're like, I just need to see this fight. Like, what happened? They don't even talk about what happened. It's just like they
Yeah,
had a huge fight.
it's like give me the good stuff. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's the juicy part. But I do enjoy Love Is Blind way more than Bachelor. Like the Bachelor
Oh yeah,
format is terrible. So
unwatchable.
I agree. All right. Next week we're gonna do Outrageous Pumpkins, season 1, episode 1. It's on the Maxes. Max, get it? Max. Tell us what you thought about this show at Who Put This On. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can email us questions and suggestions at Who Put This On at gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
Next time.